Now having played Apex since the game released, I think I have a pretty good idea of what everyone's main says about them. So take this as your warning now, you will be getting roasted. Good luck. If you play Wraith, movement is probably your favorite thing about Apex. Fade is also probably your favorite Apex player and you aspire to be like him. You spend more time spam inspecting your kunai more than shooting your gun. And there is a 99% chance you will leave the game immediately upon getting downed, even if your teammates end up winning the fight anyways. If you main Lifeline, there's a good chance you have a negative KD. And you probably aren't even aware your drone heals teammates too. Seriously, this is a cry for help to the random lifelines I get on my team. Please use your drones on me more. And you refuse to ever 1v1 and would rather revive your teammates than risk taking a fair fight. This is the exception to the roast. If you main Gibby, you are like the Chad of Apex. There's only about 20 Gibby mains total in the entire game, but every time I get one on my team, they will always die trying to save their teammates. I honestly have nothing negative to say about you guys. I love all 20 of you. If you main Newcastle, I imagine you have played Lifeline in the past and you have finally accepted that Newcastle is just the better version of Lifeline. Eventually though, you will complain about the hitbox and end up going back to Lifeline. If you main Fuse, chances are you are a man above the age of 25 who started to main him because you think explosions are really cool. You will always die up close because you decided that using a knuckle cluster made more sense than using your gun. And you will also always have a stack of grenades in your inventory and somehow manage to do nothing with them in every fight you get into. Revenant. Honestly, I haven't seen anyone play Revenant in like 2 years now, so I don't even think they exist anymore. So yeah, you can't roast something that doesn't exist. If you main Mirage, there is a good chance you unlocked him because you thought he was cool and liked the idea of tricking people. But now, you're probably over 1,000 kills in and your brain just refuses to accept he's one of the worst legends in the game. And I'm just convinced that all the Mirage mains will just play him until Apex dies no matter what happens. I also say this as someone who was a Mirage main at one point. But I have broken free from the curse. I hope you all do too at some point. If you main Vantage, you are way too addicted to sniping to the point you had to main a character that has a permanent one. I would also be willing to bet that a majority of your deaths are probably because you tried to jump to your bat, but at the last second it said no line of sight. Even though there's only like 5 Ashe mains in the game total, all 5 of you have a really weird addiction to ulting into entire teams and dying immediately. And you also tend to forget that your passive even exists. But it's okay, I also forget she has a passive sometimes. This is going to be a little bit of friendly fire and all my fellow Wattson mains here. But if you main Wattson, there's a good chance your favorite drop spot is the Tower of Monument and World's Edge, and you like ruining the game for every movement player. You probably started maining Wattson because you thought she was cute, and there's a good chance you own at least one Nessie plushie IRL. I also own a Nessie plushie IRL, so I don't know if I'm attacking Wattson mains or just attacking myself at this point. If you main Octane, you have no idea what fights are good or bad to take. All you know is jump pads and stims. You will always be the first one into a fight and always be the first one to die. I'm sorry Octane players, but we all know it's true. If you main Valkyrie, you always somehow manage to hit yourself with your rockets. And all your deaths will be while you're flying because you're way too addicted to jetpacking for some reason. You also probably have a bigger hatred for the charge rifle than most other people in the game. If you main Pathfinder, there's a good chance that you're an Apex OG, and you've been playing Pathfinder since day one. Every time you die, you're gonna complain about your hitbox, even though it is kinda true. And you've been huffing copium for at least 3 years now, waiting for the day Pathfinder actually gets a real buff, even though we all know it's never gonna happen. If you main Horizon, the only time you will ever heal is if you're going up your gravity lift. And you rely on your ult and arc stars way too much. Your biggest strength on Horizon is the fact that she has no audio. You know, I tried really hard to think of something for Ballistic, but there is so few of you guys who play the game that I don't even know what to say. So, consider yourself lucky for now. If you main Seer, I think you already know what we all think of you Seer mains. You play every match like you are in a $50,000 tournament and you rely on wall hacks way more than game sense. And you will never be seen outside of a 3 stack, even if it's only in pubs. If you main Bloodhound, it's because you've been playing them for so long you just refuse to change to anybody else. That, or you find using Seer's tactical accurately too hard so you choose to play the next best comparison. But on the bright side, at least you get a 30-second digital threat in any gun when you're in your ultimate. If you main Bangalore, whenever you have a digital threat in one of your guns, you end up griefing your team by smoking and forgetting you're the only person who has one. And chances are, when you're pushing enemies and you use your ult, you're gonna end up hitting yourself with it instead. If you main Rampart, first of all, just stop. Second, within the first minute of the game, you are already set up in the final ring behind 5 walls and a turret. and the highest kills you've ever gotten is probably no more than 5. 95% of the time, your cause of death will be trying to use your Sheila. If you main Catalyst, there's a good chance you're a Wattson main at some point, but realize Catalyst is just currently the better version of her. Your favorite object in Apex is a door, but at least most Catalyst mains are pretty good. Mad Maggie. A character whose passive is meant for shotguns, yet you never use them. Your riot drill will pretty much never hit anybody, and anytime you get into a fight, you try to throw your wrecking ball at people but end up hitting yourself with it instead. If you main Crypto, please stop maining Crypto. Also, majority of the time you'll still be in your drone while your entire team is fighting and dying in front of you, and when you finally EMP, you will stun your teammates while breaking your own armor and nobody else's. Good job, Crypto mains. You main Caustic, anytime you take damage, you are immediately throwing your ult at somebody or your own feet and running to the closest building to go set up traps. But I guess you are playing your character to your strength, so I can't say much there. Lastly, if you main Loba, you spend a majority of the game looting and are almost guaranteed to die in the first fight you get into. If you are playing her in Season 17, the only thing on your mind is where to hide and where you can craft your teammates' banners. And that's all I got for you. It's a short video, I know. Don't take it too seriously either. Unless you're a Gibby main, I meant everything I said. I love you, Gibby.